So we're here for the kids today. Bucks and Brews back, and it's Nick and David, and I'm drinking my Diet Pepsi for the kids.
Let's say I got some good old root beer, right? Because we're kid friendly today, and we want to teach the kids how to invest some money.
So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna talk about an easy investing type plan. So when I was a kid, I would get paid, a menial amount of money to do chores around the house. Do the dishes, you get a quarter. Take the garbage out, you get a quarter. Didn't really amount to a lot of money, but it was a way for me to earn money when I was a little kid, and not just obviously if I had to clean my room, I wasn't getting paid for that, but if I did extra stuff around the house, I would get some money. So
Yeah.
we want to take that theory and help kids learn how to make a little bit of money, maybe pay them a little bit of interest on what their savings. And Nick's got just great visuals here. So Nick, you have some jars with you. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So right, what we do, I have some I make for other people, but so we got these jars here, and you can see there's cuts in the corners for people that are listening to this. Right, there's slits on top, so that way all coins can fit inside of it. We do 3 jars here in our household. Right, and you label each jar, right? One is for giving, one is for spending. So your kids are that way your kids know that they're not just working to save their whole life. They get something out of it. And then one is for savings as well, which is to me where we put our interest in. So 3 jars. Honestly, I think I got these on clearance for like $1 a piece. They're pink, so these are breast cancer jars. But you can find them all over. You can go take mason jars, get the top, just cut a slit in yourself. Really inexpensive to make. Everybody's got crickets nowadays. Just label them, or even a piece of paper. I think that's a big thing for us. David, you said when you were a kid. I'll be honest. So I have a 5-year-old. For those that don't know, she has a little stool that she comes and she brushes her teeth to reach the sink. She comes to the counter to help make food or whatever. So if she has to help clean up. Today we made applesauce, right? And I was like, hey, you have to throw away the cores and you have to clean up the bag and stuff like that, right? It's not big things. It's all easy stuff they can do. So she throws all the cores and the bag of apples when it's empty into the trash, right? And I pay her. I do it with 50-cent pieces because now she's a little older, but back when she was like 2 and 3, she had 50-cent pieces so that she could hold on to and stick them in, and she could, if it was a bigger job, I'd pay her in a gold dollar. Right. So when I talk about bigger jobs, I have cats, and I used to have a dog, but she had to feed the cats and the dog, and she'd hold the bowl up to get her water, and she'd run downstairs and feed them. So I paid my kid for that stuff.
So, and when we're looking at it here, you want to take a certain amount of that money they're earning. So let's say they earned $1 today. Yep. You want to take a certain amount and set a certain portion of that to savings, a certain portion of that to spending, and a certain portion of that to giving. So, let's just, because I love whole numbers, let's just say we're going to go 50 cents to savings.
Yep. Always at least 50% into savings. That's my biggest thing. Guaranteed 50% into savings, because we want to teach these kids to save. And kids that are watching and listening, you want to save 50% of your money, right? It'll teach you so much more later in life.
We want to take and give maybe 30 cents ish to spending.
Yeah.
Because we want kids to sit there and be, excited that, hey, a portion of this is going to buy things I want, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And then maybe 20% to giving.
Yeah. I make my daughter choose. So guaranteed 50% into savings. And then she gets the other 50%. And now she has to put something into her donation jar, right? Because we all get around that Christmas time and she wants to buy a kid a toy or something like that. But I guarantee at least 10% or 10 cents of that has to go into the giving jar. And then she can do any more or any less that she wants. And then she can then she can spend 40 cents or more on whatever she wants. So, that's how we do it here, and I think it works out really well.
And the thing I think to make kids excited about this, and hopefully kids are watching this, so Johnny or Susie or Emerson or Ethan, whoever's watching this, the thing to really make them excited about is, instead of just giving them that money to put into savings, start teaching them what savings can actually mean. So they save their 50 cents. Let's say they make 50 cents a week, so they made $2 in a month.
Yep.
Pay them a decent interest rate on that. Give them an extra 10 cents on that money for that month.
Yeah.
And now they're looking at, hey, I got $2.10. All I did was leave that money sit there.
I'd say, and that's the big thing, right? Once you teach them that money just sits there and they earn money on it, right? We're going to learn what interest is. We're teaching you young kids. We're teaching the parents, because these are things that we didn't comprehend when we were younger. Is, hey, I'm earning money to let it sit there, and so being forced to put 50% in there, I need to earn money to be forced to not spend it. And so when you're seeing, again, $2 equals 10 cents, so you're getting 5% of your money. That's pretty good interest. The bigger it goes, the better it'll get. But if you're not financially wealthy, and let's say your kid is $100 and you can't give them $10, right? You can still give them, 25 cents, and they're going to understand what the economy is right now, and getting, 0.25 cents, right? Or 2.25%, and so they're still making money, and they did nothing technically except for not touch it, not throw a fit about it, not cry because they can't spend it, not say, oh, I have all this money, why shouldn't I spend it? Well, and you're going to be able to teach them, hey, once that grows and grows and grows, they're going to have money to put down in their car, and they're going to thank you later. This is all for the later parts of life, and the thank yous later. We don't need instant gratification here, because that's what that middle jar is for. That middle jar is for, hey, I want an LOL doll. I mean, I have a daughter, so an LOL doll, or I want a My Little Pony, or I'm at the dollar store and I want something specific. Right? That's what that's for. And it makes it so that way you're not the one constantly giving to your kids everything that they want. They're earning that. They're earning what they want. They're earning what they need. Not what they need, sorry, but what they want, right? They're getting specifically things that you get no say in, for the most part, as long as it's, for them, and you think, but make that educated decision to teach your kids. So, right. So we go back to it. I like to hold up visuals, right? Label it, savings 50%, spending anything, and then your donation has to be at least 10%. If you're not the kind of person that wants to give to other people, we're not going to be mad at you. We're not going to do that. But we know that teaching kids to give when they're younger makes them better people, because let's say, I know schools right now are giving free lunches, right? Let's say that there's a kid that wants something, and your kid can give them something. So that comes out of the giving jar. And you don't have to, they get the fulfillment of, they've impacted a life. They get all that fulfillment. You kids get to understand that, hey, and who knows, if that money saves up for so long, and let's say you get into 8th grade where the 8th grade trip is, and you go to, and the kid couldn't afford it, their kid can give that money, and they've impacted somebody for so much better. Guys, I hope this was informative to you. I hope it makes sense. I want this to impact you guys for the rest of your life, and just watch how that savings keeps building up. So
yeah, and kids, if you have any questions, have your parents reach out to us. We're happy to help you, come up with a plan, and we want to see you get great money habits now, so that when you're older, you just get to do the things you want to do and not necessarily the things you have to do. So
take care.
And we'll see you next time, kids.